My name is Alec, and I'm the owner of Oasis Powerlifting Club. I'm 24 years old, and I've been training for the better part of the last decade. I spent most of my life in Pennsylvania, and once I graduated high school, I came up here and attended Boston University, and I've been up here ever since. I initially started weight training just like most other people, just at the local YMCA, and as I got older, I had more friends who began to powerlift, and I got peer pressured into attending my first powerlifting meet, which was very intimidating at the time. I always saw it as like, a sport for scary people. So, but my first impression of powerlifting as a whole in the community was awesome. Pretty much within the first 10 minutes of stepping into a meet, the biggest guy in the gym came up to me and wished me good luck and introduced himself, which is a large part of why I felt so comfortable being in the sport for this long. Opening my own gym has been a dream of mine for pretty much since I actually started taking my training seriously, just because it felt, I had an emotional connection to the gym that I trained at, and I was like, well, what better way to give back to that community than creating a space that other people could feel the same about? I always thought that opening a gym would be a long-term thing where I would open a gym after I've retired or something, and it'd be a passion project. But after I moved to Boston, I was like, well, I feel very frustrated that there isn't a space that I enjoy training in. It's either a commercial gym or it's a really old gym, or it's just not up to the standard that I believe gyms should be. And that's really what motivated me to start purchasing equipment and start planning for the gym. Yeah, so I actually was looking for a supplier or manufacturer for a while, and the common themes of other companies that I came across was either the pricing was just ridiculous and I just didn't understand why they needed to price it that high, or two, the quality was just evidently very poor. I mean, I did my research, I went to other gyms, tested out a bunch of equipment, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing that attracted me to Xmaster was actually talking to the guys behind it, right? I felt like the difference here was that the guys behind the company were also just like me. They were gym owners, they trained themselves, and that's what, the lack of that usually creates that disconnect between the customer and the brand. But with Xmaster, that wasn't the case. They understood what the customer wanted, they understood what the customer needed, and they also understood the value of giving back to the community. First time using the products was very different than my first impression of the company itself. Obviously, I'm a pretty skeptical person, so approaching a new company or a new brand, I'm always very critical of the equipment. But pretty much as soon as my order arrived, it was, everybody around me who was unpackaging everything with me had the same reaction, like, wow, like I've never seen anything like this. You can, once you've been around it enough, you can feel it. You pick it up and you just know when something is high quality or low quality. And even to this day, I actually just weighed all of my plates. And after a year of heavy use in a powerlifting gym, every single plate was not even off by 0.01 kilos. Everything was on the dot. So my initial order from Xmaster was, I think 3,000 kilos of calibrated plates, powerlifting plates, and dumbbells up to 110 pounds. Initially, when I first received the plates, lots of people were asking, hey, where'd you get those? How did you afford that many plates? And the initial feedback from the customers themselves and my friends was first of all, they really liked the colors of the plates. They were a little bit different, but they were different in the right way. And I totally agree with that too. And two is obviously the chrome. Like, that obviously stands out, and it's very different than the standard these days, which is just a powder-coated plate, right? And the chrome, from what I've seen, is also much more durable. Business plans. Honestly, the way I run this gym is not very much like a business. I run it like a passion project. I pretty much, when I see a piece of equipment that I want to buy or my members request it, I'll buy it. And my hope for this gym is that if I continue giving back to those who support me, eventually I'll be able to come out on top. So. On the powerlifting community as a whole, I just want to, two things. One, I want to raise the standards of anything we do. So whether it's building a gym, maintaining the gym, the equipment that people have access to, and running powerlifting meets and events, I want to raise the standard. And two, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to grow the sport. And I think just creating a accessible space, not at a ridiculous price tag, with everything a lifter needs to, achieve their goals, I think that's going to already go a long way to growing the sport. Now let's take a tour of Oasis Powerlifting Club.
So when we first walk in, we have our accessory equipment on this side, and the centerpiece of the gym, the turf, and our snacks over here. This is fan favorite here, fireplace with our collection of 12 power bars. And once we come over here, this is what we consider to be the training hall. On this side of the room, we have our cage and our belt squat, leg press, and my personal favorite section of the gym, these beautiful dumbbells. Once we come over on this side, this is where all the action happens. We have our media center here, where all of our members can connect to the aux, and we have our collection of 5 combo racks. These combo racks can be used for squat and bench. Very easy to switch in and out. And coming around here, these are more of our dedicated squat stands. So most people will be squatting on here. We have our specialty bars over there. And now we're back right on the turf. And that was a tour of Oasis Powerlifting Club.